All right, this is the sound check for episode 15 of the Cross Gen podcast. Kids, go.
Sound check. Just
Yeah,
sound check.
we're using a new mic today. We're using the Blue Yeti. We're going to see how it works
Blue
for this
Yeti.
podcast.
Interestingly enough, before I said it was Temple Run, now it's Jerry's game.
What? What's that?
So you know Rick and Morty?
Yeah.
There's this character called Jerry,
Cherry. Yeah.
and he's Morty's father.
Pickle Rick is a dead meme.
So there's a game that they had made called Jerry's Game, and it's basically you get in and you pop balloons, and that's literally all you do.
That's it?
Look,
It's boring, but I guess it's fun.
And is there like a point where you stop popping balloons?
only until you hit a death balloon or you just let it go.
Is this like a bad version of Fruit Ninja?
This is if you really want to find a way to kill your time that is, quite frankly, inanely dumb and time consuming, this is the way to do it.
You know there's a Fruit Ninja 2 now, right?
I heard about that.
Okay. Just checking. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this new episode of the CrossGen podcast. Yes, like we said in the earlier soundtrack, we are testing out a new microphone today. We're testing out the Blue Yeti to see if maybe we can use this going forward. Give us your thoughts on how it sounds, if it's good, if it's not, if it's indifferent, whatever. But anyway, hi, I'd like to welcome you back
Hi.
again.
Yo,
Hi.
So, I'm Walt.
this is superfluous hyper killer AJ.
This is Eli.
All right.
And
This is Eli. Oh,
Better,
see?
better.
I got two voices.
I think people will hear that on the Blue Yeti microphone.
Blue
Let's
Yeti.
see.
Blue Yeti microphone.
Yeah. it's
There
blue.
we go.
See, it's blue and it's Yeti. So it's a streaming microphone that we're trying out. We've had it before. We usually use it just as a one-to-one mic, but we're trying the omnidirectional feature on it. So we're going to see how it sounds and whether it works for future podcasts. Because honestly, it's quite easy to use. All we got to do is plug it in. Before we had the mixer with 3 mics, and we're just trying to streamline things. But if it turns out that the sound isn't quite up to snuff, then we'll just revert back on the next episode, right, guys?
Yep.
So, today we're going to be talking about a beautiful gem of a movie,
A PG movie.
a PG movie that's rated R.
Oh,
A movie that I wanted to see, and I tried to make it a surprise, except somebody spoiled himself, right?
Well, hey, it's not my fault. The first thing the movie app does is show you recent purchases. So,
All right. Well, I tried to keep it in the dark as much as possible, right?
yeah.
Because this was a movie that you really couldn't research. You just had to experience to watch.
Yeah, I guess.
Should we tell our audience what was that groundbreaking, Emmy Award-winning, Oscar-type, mind-blowing, life-changing movie?
yeah,
Should we do
Eli,
it?
well, what is it? Huh? What is
Psycho Goreman.
Yep. So we watched It's funny enough. The reason why I know about this is because I happened to go on the internet and I'm always looking for something new to watch because we watch a lot of movies, right?
A lot.
We've got a lot of movies, right?
Yeah.
We watch a
Yeah.
lot of TV shows, right?
Yeah.
I happen to be a horror movie fan.
Same
You
here.
guys kind of.
Yeah, I am.
I'd say yes, but how is this horror?
Yeah, this isn't horror. I don't know why this was on
It's
Shudder.
kind of horror-ish.
No,
It's gore,
no.
but
So let me just give you a background on what Psycho Gorman is. Psycho Gorman, and I'm going to read this straight off the Wikipedia page because you know what, I can't explain it any other way. So Wikipedia does a great job of it. So it's easier for me just to say it this way. Psycho Gorman is a 2020 Canadian science, fantasy, horror, comedy film, which is written and directed by Steven Kostanski. It stars Nita Josie Hanna and Owen Meyer as a young sister and brother who unwittingly resurrect an ancient extraterrestrial overlord who is voiced by Stephen Valajos and played by Matt Nienaber. Okay. Um, this was it was produced by Raven Banner Entertainment, distributed by RLJE Films, um, picked up by Shudder. It was released on October 7th of 2020 at Beyond Fest. It's a 99-minute film. And interestingly enough, the box office was for this thing was 6,000, well, I can't say because it's so weird. $66,669.
Seriously? No, no.
That was the box office for this movie.
No.
$66,669.
no, no.
So-
There's no way that's natural.
No.
So it premiered this year in theaters, which we probably not happening in the States, and on video on demand on January 22nd of 2021. So this is pretty much a very, very, very new film.
Bizarre.
I'm going to give our audience a heads up. This is going to be a very, very spoilery review.
Spoilers everywhere.
So, if you want, let's talk about it in general terms before we get into the spoiler bits, because I want to see if maybe our audience might be intrigued enough to watch it, and then maybe they can pause this podcast, go watch it, and then come back and hear our full reactions on it, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you even begin to describe Psycho Gorman without giving spoilers? Let's just go with the main premise. There's a little girl, and she has a brother who's kind of she's a bully, right? Not only to the brother,
Yeah.
but to like everybody.
Yeah.
She's like how old? You would figure she's maybe like 13,
Yeah, I
No,
guess.
no,
somewhere around there.
no,
You think
I
less?
would
She's like-
say 11 or 10.
no.
You think so?
I would say 7 to 8.
No,
Eight. No, no, no.
definitely
8 to
not.
9. 8 to
No,
9.
Not even. No.
8 to 9.
Okay.
How?
She's not 8 to 9.
That's,
No.
What is she?
That's incredulous. No.
She's okay. So let's put it this way: she's anywhere between. She's a preteen. She's anywhere between 10 and 13. Let's put it that way. I think that's a pretty good range, right?
Yep,
What?
that is.
Damn.
She's around that age.
Is it just me, or are preteens in movies like super weird and stuff?
Well, preteens in general are super weird and stuff.
No, that's not true. That's
Well,
a stereotype.
Actually, yeah. It's
No.
true.
Just saying.
Not all preteens are emos.
Yeah.
She was definitely not an
sorry.
emo.
You're doing the stereotyping yourself, mister. That's a
You know
stereotype.
what? Let's just move on. Forget it.
All right. Well, anyway, you have the brother and the sister. The sister is like really, really bullyish and bad, and he treats the brother really, really badly and stuff. And they just how did they find something in their backyard, and they dig it up, and um, what happens is that they grab the crystal from what's there, but they leave the rest of the stuff in there.
No, but you
No,
can't
no, I
leave
know.
out the most important
No,
part.
no, no. I'm going very, very general. We're gonna get into details later. And then this thing is resurrected, and it turns out he's an ancient overlord alien bent on destroying the world. But there's a twist because he turns into a Pokemon.
What?
That's your setup, people. If you're interested in the movie, and like I said, it's a sci-fi horror comedy film. If you're interested in the movie, you can go find it on demand, iTunes. I'm pretty sure Google has it, Microsoft, all these places and stuff. If you're interested in the hook, go watch it. Pause this video, this podcast, and then come back.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get into spoilers. So, gentlemen, boys,
Spoiler
So
alert.
the one thing
Take
I
it away.
want to reiterate is that there's this guy. I forget his name. It starts with a K. So to even get this gem out in the first place, there's apparently this super unbelievably hard decoding thing you have to do.
oh,
It's
you're
like-
talking
Oh,
about
God.
that guy.
Yeah.
He's
It's like the puzzle to end all puzzles. And this kid gets it on the first try.
Well, we don't know that at the beginning when it happens. She just starts pushing. There's like a special thing that
does it
she pushes in.
randomly.
Yeah, it's random,
Yeah.
totally random, right? Cortex is his name.
Cortex.
Cortex.
Cortex. So we see him later on in the film, right? So the first instance of seeing the kids is they're playing this game that the girl makes up called Crazy Ball. Do we even know? Can you explain the rules to this Crazy Ball? Because it's not like any other game that
It's
we've played, right?
dodgeball, but with much more violence and a very weird scoring system.
Yeah,
And a lot of weird rules that go along with it, right?
Let's just put it this way: if your elementary school were to like sort of change Crazy Ball, that would be it. Except you're
best-
actually trying to actually kill people.
But one of the biggest parts of Crazy Ball is the reversal. Is it called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So if two balls hit each other, like from the opposing sides, the persons who threw the ball have to go up to the other, and whoever punches the other first wins or something like that.
Yeah, they steal all the points from the other team.
Plus one.
Plus one.
Plus one.
And the total that you need to get is 67. Is it?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
So basically, Crazy Ball, you start it almost exactly like dodgeball, right?
Yeah.
Except you throw the ball to the opposite direction, then you have to run and get it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
At the beginning.
So the balls are in the middle. They run toward the middle. Then they throw the ball opposite to themselves. Then they have to run and get the balls, and that's when the game starts. And there's this weird part where if you get hit in the butt, I think you have to hold the ball over your head, turn around and say Crazy Ball, while the other person has to beat you by doing jumping jacks.
Yeah. Or something
Right?
like that.
No, I think butt is 5 points plus 5 points.
That's plus 5 points. But there's
Yeah,
a
but
part
there
where
is
you just get
something you
hit.
have to do.
If you just get hit, they have to do
Yeah,
jumping
Yeah.
jacks before the person turns around 3 times and says Crazy Ball.
Yeah.
Something like that. Well,
that sounds right.
It's Crazy Ball. So the girl is a god at Crazy Ball, right?
Yeah.
Because
Apparently.
she's like super hyper violent, and she's full of herself. She thinks she's better than everybody. She
Universal
deals with
champ.
she deals in conspiracy theories. It's almost like she hates her brother, right?
Sort of. Yeah. Yeah.
Because she's like super.
Definitely.
She's not regular mean. She's like uber mean to the brother,
She's
right?
sadistic.
Mm-hmm.
Basically
And that comes up during the movie, right?
does.
That's like a big point of the movie, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
All right. So after they finish this whole Crazy Ball thing, what do you remember? Why is it that they decided to start digging in the backyard?
The loser
Think
gets
that-
buried.
It was
lot.
something like that.
The loser gets buried alive.
and that goes back to the whole she's a sadist,
Yeah.
right? So they start digging up this hole, and clank, they find like a coffin almost, right?
It looks more like a box, though.
True.
This
True.
looks very Hellraiser inspired.
Would you agree?
I do not agree. Not
Okay.
in the slightest.
So let's go this way.
They already
Eli.
said what their inspirations are.
No. Let Eli explain. So why do you think it's Hellraiser-esque?
Well, I'm talking about not just that, not just the weird key. I'm talking about everything in general, because a lot of it is okay. It's not very Hellraiser inspired, but you can definitely see that the concept is very similar, right? Because you have the whole count. Should I even really say that yet?
Yeah, we're in spoiler
Oh
territory.
yeah, okay. So I can just say whatever. They have the weird council thing. That's basically like the Hellraiser Council led by Pinhead, right? The weird.
Those are aliens and their protagonists. Every movie has a council.
Wait, they are not protagonists.
Well, in light of how the story is framed, yes, they are.
They're all antagonists.
To the kids. But otherwise, they are actually the protagonists of the story.
Yeah, but they're. The way I see it here.
Yeah, you're seeing it from the view of the kids. They are the enemies. But in reality, they are actually the good guys.
Are they really?
The kids are the good. Okay.
In terms of the narrative that's being told at the very beginning.
At the
yes,
very
they
beginning,
are.
Yes. But it gets a little shady toward the middle.
Yes.
Okay.
They're all antagonists. Let's just leave it at that, because you have the kids who are sadistic as all hell to the point where something happens. I don't want to say that yet because.
Okay.
Right? But
well, let's just put it this way. It's a very weird movie.
The council is also an antagonist because they want to get rid of the most protagonist antagonists.
It's a weird movie. It's
there's not
there's no way to really, because
whatever.
even the people who we consider to be the heroes of the movie, they're really not.
They're really messed up.
So there's really, if you really look at it, there's really no such thing as a protagonist and antagonist in this movie, because everybody pretty much sucks in this movie. Everybody. There's like not one person that you can say right off the bat he's a good guy, right?
Yeah.
The mom was good at first, and the dad was good.
No,
the dad was just lazy.
Well, the dad was just lazy, but that doesn't make him evil. But towards the middle, they just like completely
everything went crazy at that point. So you got the mom and the dad, right?
Yeah.
So the mom is, I guess, typical mom, right? She does everything and stuff. And the dad, we realize throughout the movie, is unemployed, lazy, doesn't do anything in the house, but apparently is super smart because he does have a degree, a college degree, but he just doesn't apply himself. And he finds every excuse not to do work. God. But he's cool with the kids.
Yeah.
Right?
That doesn't exactly help certain things.
Right, exactly. So anyway, that's the main part of the family, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we meet also the other kid, Alistair.
Oh God.
Alistair is Owen's friend, right?
Yeah.
And let me make sure I got the right name. Luke. Which, you know what? Makes sense because Luke and his name is a big thing in the movie also, right? Okay. The actor's name is Owen, so sorry about that. But the character Luke, that's Alistair's friend.
Yeah.
Okay.
God.
He plays another big part. So they're digging in the backyard, and what do they find? The key. Do you remember what the key is?
The lock.
And the key.
Do you remember what the key is?
The gem of
cortaxiconomethazonerin?
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
The gem of morphodiphylactosis.
The gem of.
The gem of Prima Delivo.
You know what? Even this thing doesn't say.
The gem of.
It did say.
Yeah,
in
I
the
know,
movie.
but it was. I know it did say it in the movie, but it actually doesn't. Hold on. I'm ashamed that we don't even have that information right now. It is called
The gem.
The gem
of. Let me guess. You search it up, and the
Bud
search results aren't even.
It doesn't even say it in the search, man.
No, it's but the title is there.
Tweed.
There is a name for it.
Yeah, there is, because they mention it like how many times, but it's like the most difficult thing to say it.
The gem.
Lettuce.
What's this called again?
Psycho Goreman.
Psycho Goreman pink gem.
I can't believe we can't find this gem.
Psycho Goreman pink gem. Either way, it's a part of his lock. What do? They break the lock by opening.
The gem of Gygax?
No, that's where he's
from.
God. It was like the gem of D something, right?
I remember the gem of K. Or the gem of P.
The gem of Proxidite.
There you go.
Yeah, I got it.
All right, you found it. I can't believe we spent a minute just trying to find that. But that's how obscure this film is. That's how. But this is a movie that really has to be seen to believe. But anyway, the gem of
Proxidite.
Remember that.
Okay, gem of. We're just gonna call it the gem.
Gem.
But it's the gem of Proxidite. Okay.
Yeah.
So they find the gem of Proxidite buried in the sand in the backyard, and they get scared off and decide not to continue digging and unearthing the stuff. So they put all the things back. But whilst they're asleep, and Andre was waiting for that moment that didn't come until 5 minutes later.
The hand.
The horror trope, the hand coming out of the dirt, right?
Yeah.
Which leads us to the first appearance of
the Archduke of Nightmares.
The Archduke of Nightmares, the evil overlord, and he stumbles across an old shoe factory
that's being loitered by hobos or whatever.
3 guys. Yeah. Well, thieves, because they had just.
Oh yeah, that's right. They ransacked that store.
Well, actually, not even thieves, murderers, because they killed the guy also.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's one older guy and 2 youngish guys.
Yeah.
And they had the unfortunate responsibility of making first contact on Earth with the Archduke of Nightmares. That didn't go over well, did it?
No.
God.
Did not. Like, there was this one guy,
the first guy.
Yeah, he did a Predator. It was like, the head just gone. The other
complete
dude,
with the spine, though. So he decapitated by ripping his head off, but leaving the spine intact.
Really? I thought the spine came out too.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The spine came out with the head.
Yeah,
that's what I meant.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah.
And then the lifeless body husk just fell to the floor.
And then you have
did the other guy get electrocuted? I don't remember. I know what happened to the last guy.
Didn't he get blown up?
Yeah.
Remember,
one of them
he used that magic power that he has, brought him up to him, and then just splatted him.
He did a Krillin.
He did.
He really did a Krillin.
And then the last guy.
Oh God.
He apparently made him live forever, immortal. Like he literally made him immortal.
I don't want to die.
But he also did like this weird thing where it's like, yeah, so you're immortal now, but you're also gonna be stuck in your nightmares or something like that.
Excruciating pain, with your eyeballs rolling in your eyes, like a slot machine.
Yeah.
Right? Frozen, unable to move.
Yep.
With like bloody, gutty things,
Immortality really took it out of him.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Not good. So that's our first instance. So finally, the kids wake up. They realize that the Archduke of Nemesis of Nightmares is out because they find a huge hole in the dirt, and they go off to find out what made that thing, and they go to the shoe factory, and that's the first time that they find Mr. Archduke
of
Nightmares, evil overlord. Now, let me start by saying this: how great is that alien, right? Is he not like the best alien? Because he is so far over the top. Like everything that he says is, basically like a Saturday Night Live sketch come to life if he was an alien, right? Like, I will bathe in the blood of your intestines as I rip out your eyes, and death will be a small inconvenience for you. Those type of things, right?
Yeah.
Like there's literally a point where one of the kids says, it was nice to meet you, and he goes, it'd be nicer if you're dead. Right?
Yeah.
This is the over the top type of overlord that we get. He's an over the top overlord.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But the main character, that bully girl whose name is Mimi, she finds out something very, very important, doesn't she?
Yep. So go ahead.
Yeah.
After just stumbling across the dead body and freaking dude who's like, God, he's
immortal, and then up on the wall you had the rack of body parts placed nicely in a nice little design.
Yeah, so
that was very Hellraiser-esque. I'll give you that.
It is Hellraiser-esque.
That one thing.
That was the guy that had his head ripped off, right? I would assume so, because the other guy got disintegrated. Yeah. So, okay.
So, what does she say?
He says, "Shut up and leave him alone."
Yeah.
Right, because he was about to kill
the boy,
the brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she says, "Shut up and sit down," and he literally does exactly as she says.
Well, she doesn't tell him sit down yet. Yeah. But she says to put him down.
Put him down.
Yeah. And so at that point she realizes, wait, well, so who are you? And he's like, he can't talk. It's like, oh, I think I know what's going on here. Talk. And after that, it's just basically because she holds the gem of Praxedis, she is able to control him. Well, in the loosest sense. Like, yes, he has to obey everything she says, but there are some monkey's paws in there.
So this gem is pretty important because that's the gem that was used by that space council to imprison him, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That was the only thing that they could have used to keep him where he was.
And it's also the source of his power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So whoever controls the gem controls this Archduke of Nightmares. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then we have this funny little thing where she tells him to take the brother and spin him around, right? And the brother's like, wait, what? And he gets spun around using levitation and stuff.
More of that sadism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So eventually they figure out that they have total control of this evil alien overlord, destroyer of worlds guy.
Right.
And they decide to give him a name.
Yeah. Also, the kid gets like really dizzy, and the immortal dude who's like put up on an art thing or on an art rack, right? Mm-hmm. He gets knocked over by the freaking kid.
Oh no, that's the immortal guy.
Yeah, the immortal guy. He gets knocked over.
And
My
what?
masterpiece.
Exactly.
What have you done? And right as the thing breaks, the guy is able to manage to say one more thing, even though his head is in several places and his throat is very clearly not connected to his mouth.
Yeah, like
He's able to say, "Thank you."
So the guy falls over and the head explodes like a melon, right?
Yeah.
So there's pieces of his face all over the place, but only his mouth, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only his mouth. And that's the great thing about this movie is because the special effects are so 80s like.
Yeah.
It's cheesy. Like you could tell that this is a very low budget film, you know.
It's like
and
Hellraiser. It's almost like Hellraiser
I would
special
go.
effects.
I would go even earlier than that. I would go like like the very beginnings. But I think they did that on purpose. They
Yeah.
figured, you know what, this is going to be a low budget movie. We're going to cheese it up as much as possible. They know that this is, and that's one of the great things about it. This movie knows that it's not a serious movie,
Yeah.
and they go straight for the cheese. They go straight for the corn, right?
Yeah.
So you have all these little moments, like the guy who falls apart and only his mouth is there, and he says, "Thank you." All right, and then they go about naming the guy.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure the first name that they came up with was like Psycho Man. Psycho Man. That was such an awesome name. Right?
They came up with some pretty good names, right?
Yeah, right. Some really good names.
But they end up with
Psycho Goreman, or PG for short.
Or PG.
PG for short.
And that is I don't care what you tell me. That's obviously a play on the fact that this is a rated R movie, and they decided to name that dude PG.
Which is weird because it almost feels like a kids movie, right? At times.
Yeah.
Bro,
But this is like
beginning,
the goriest, most over the top kid movie in like the history of kid movies, right?
Yeah, like right at the beginning, we were all, weren't you like thinking? I'm pretty sure we were all thinking that this was a kids movie, except for Dad, who probably he saw.
I knew everything that was gonna happen.
I knew I was thinking this was a kids movie, but then all of a sudden, when Psycho Goreman comes up and starts ripping heads off, I was just like, "What?"
And ripping heads off in the most goriest, bloodiest, splatter-proof type of way possible, right?
Yeah.
They didn't hold back on the splatterings, did they?
No.
Right. So now they have their big alien overlord. So the most logical thing to do is to start showing him around. Now the brother, to his credit, said we shouldn't do this, right?
Yeah.
Because what are people going to think? What's going to happen? And we have that great little montage of Psycho Goreman going into the town with them, right?
Yeah.
Especially with the kid on the bike. Do you remember that one?
Yeah. Look,
hey,
nowhere.
Dude, that's a great costume you have.
Yeah.
And then he blew him up, right?
Blew her up.
Blew her up, you know.
God.
And then you have Psycho Goreman. Didn't he have like? Oh no, the first time he just went as is, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't try and change him up, right? But that then leads us to so Alistair is now.
At that point, when they're doing the shopping, he's no longer normal.
So talk about Alistair, please.
Yes. So Alistair kind of said after a point, because they brought the thing home, the parents saw the thing, they freaked out. They tried to get the kids away from it
with the bat.
What's the first thing that? What do you think is the first thing the dad would notice?
No. The mom comes out with the bat.
Yeah, the mom comes out with the bat.
Smacks the guy with the bat. Smacks the alien with the bat.
PG. It doesn't do anything.
Breaks the bat.
Yeah.
The dad comes out.
What do you think the first thing he'd notice is? That his kids are in danger? that his wife is in danger, the first thing that comes out of his mouth is,
"My precious bat."
and he walks all the way over to her, not looking at his surroundings at all. His focus is solely on the bat. Once he gets there, he's like, wait, how did the bat get broken? And then he finally realizes, oh crap.
And then the Overlord goes, you have the audacity to hit me with those feeble weapons? What does the dad say?
She did.
She did.
Not me.
It wasn't me. It was her. And she's like, are you kidding me?
God.
So
You can obviously tell that everybody in this movie is just straight up a-holes.
But at that point, Alistair is not really normal anymore, right?
No.
Because Alistair saw what was going on with PG when they were trying to show him how to play Crazy Ball, and he didn't want to play anymore, so he was going to leave. And the sister, Mimi, again with her, tells Psycho Goreman to do a very specific thing, right?
Yeah.
Except Psycho Goreman, who at this point understands that he's under her control, but still wants to kill them because he wants to take the gem back so he can complete his mission of destroying all of the universe, right? He's a captive, and he knows it. It's not like he's going along with the ride and doing whatever she wants. Every time she tells him to do something, he's like, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your brother. I'm going to kill your family. I'm going to kill you in the most wretched way possible. And she's like, yeah, okay, but I've still got control of you, so do what I say. And he's like, ugh, right? So to spite her, he does something to Alistair.
Yeah. So he kind of goes, well, I see that you're clearly into him. There's this thing I did for this one guy over on one of the moons of, insert the name here. I can do the same thing I did there and get him to like you. Do you want me to do that? And he's like, oh, okay, sure, yeah. That actually wouldn't be too bad. And then PG proceeds to turn this kid into a huge, bug-eyed, tentacly brain.
Huge, like a blob, a brain blob.
Yeah.
Like at least 4 feet tall, right? Well, the same size.
Yeah.
But just huge.
He's just completely got his life turned upside down.
That was messed
But
up.
he's still aware of everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's alive.
He's alive.
And he has to live like that.
Unlike the immortal guy who couldn't move. This guy can move, but he's just a big brain with tentacles and eyes. And he has a mouth, which was really weird.
He did?
Yeah, right in the middle, in between of his eyes.
He could talk and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
It's a very, very strange thing. But they all become fast friends because they make their own band.
Yeah.
And Alistair, the brain blob, because he has the tentacles, he plays the keyboard. Mimi, of course, has to be the lead singer, right? Because she's, the best. What was
the boy is on the guitar and PG is on the drums.
Yeah.
There you go. And they play the song Friggin'.
Yeah.
Right? Friggin' you or friggin' me or friggin' everything. It's a very strange thing.
It's a very narcissistic song. Yeah, let's just say that.
All right. How about the police guys?
God, I'm sorry, but
they finally. Actually, that's when they started learning Crazy Ball.
Yeah.
Well, no, she started playing with him when Alistair, because remember, she was throwing the ball at him and he didn't understand at all. But right, when they were with the police, that's when she actually started doing the rules of Crazy Ball.
Yeah.
Right? But by that time, the parents know about both Alistair, the brain blob, and Psycho Goreman, and they're completely fine with it.
I would say fine with it. It's more like a
He's
very, very
over for dinner.
reluctant acceptance.
He's over for dinner. There's the montage of them shopping for clothes with him, with the mom, who's clearly loving the fact that Psycho Gorman's in their life, right? Remember when they were in the thing and he was modeling off all the different outfits?
Yeah.
She didn't
Mimi's
see...
mom
Yeah,
was
Mimi's
with
mom.
it. Yeah, but
Mimi's dad was deathly afraid of him. Right?
Yeah.
Especially when he's throwing, the crazy balls around and it's blasting through the house and destroying his TV. Right? He's completely afraid of him, but he's fine. Mimi's mom, however, is totally 100% fine with Psycho Gorman. The evil
I
overlord.
wouldn't think it's 100% fine. I think there's still that reluctance because when the time came to make a decision, hey, we could get this guy out of here, they went and took it.
All right. But let's get back to the cops. The cops come flying through. They're in school, aren't they?
Yeah, they're in the
schoolyard.
Yeah.
Learning how to play
Crazy Ball.
Crazy Ball.
What, like the cops come over and they see him and they
one
draw
cop
their gun.
car. One cop car.
Yeah, one cop
but
car.
He comes flying through, right?
Yeah.
Like a bat out of hell.
They draw their guns and stuff, and they're like, you can obviously see that they're not ready for this.
Remember your training.
And forget it.
Right, so
they open fire.
Yeah, that obviously doesn't do anything. But then
the first guy that Psycho Gorman catches, Mimi says go and take care of them.
Yeah.
Because Psycho Gorman can't do anything unless Mimi says it. So Mimi, instead of saying, you know what, stand down, she says, nah, you know what, those are cops, take care of them.
Yeah.
And he does.
What?
At least to the one guy.
He manages to turn the one guy that he's able to reach into a slave. Into like this soulless husk type thing.
Yeah, he's like...
And the other guy is just able to like escape.
But doesn't he give the other guy a warning?
Never come back here or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, go tell your overlords or your leaders that I am here to destroy all of it, and that your intervention is meaningless, or stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But the guy that he turns, like, his face is all melted.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like himself. He
looks like,
the dude, you know how Iron Maiden, they have, it's their lead song.
They have a lot of songs.
Their lead song, though. The weird,
lead song?
Yeah, the soldier or something.
The Trooper?
Yeah, the Trooper. That's what it looks like. The Trooper, a little bit.
Actually, it kind of looks more like that.
Yeah, but look. That looks a lot like him.
Not really.
It looks like the Trooper, a little bit.
A little bit.
Look.
A little bit. He looks more meaner there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the whole purpose. The police officer is like a goofy, melted face that really, really has no use of his arms or legs except for just walking. But he still has the gun in his hand.
It's grafted onto his hand.
Yeah, because he can't. But he's like a soulless. He's the first of Psycho Gorman's soulless army, right? So so all of that stuff is going on. Eventually, he summons his paladins to help him kill Mimi.
Yeah.
And that doesn't go over well because the paladins realize, well, if we don't have to follow you anymore, we're actually kind of fine keeping control of Gygax, which is his planet.
Yeah.
And they acquired it a very special way.
Yeah. But they co-rule it amongst the 5 paladins, right? And like one guy was like, well, see, the crown's on my head, so it's my turn this week. and Psycho Goreman is thinking, this is my way of, getting my freedom back, because my trusted paladins are going to come, and since I can't kill Mimi, I can command them to kill Mimi, and then I can have the gem back.
Except for that one guy that he knew he could never trust.
Right, exactly. There's one paladin that he says, well, yeah, except for you. I never trusted you. I can never trust you. And he's like, okay. But that doesn't happen. The paladins turn against him. They try and kill him. And Mimi is upset that Psycho Gordon wanted to have them kill her. And so Psycho Gorman is asking, please give me the power to let me fight them. And she's like, no, not until you apologize. And they actually leave, but then Psycho Gorman says, please, I'm sorry. And then he proceeds to kill all the paladins.
Yeah. In the most brutal, Power Rangey,
yeah,
sort of way.
Yeah, And so those paladins, you reference somebody, because they were given the power to rule Gygax because of one particular thing. So apparently, they were the ones that betrayed Psycho Gorman to that one person who ended up imprisoning him. And that guy would be, or that girl would be,
Pandora.
The Templar.
Of the Templar.
And they're basically space angels. Who...
Sadistic.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not really sadistic. It's more so that they're like a whole species of Zamasus. They believe in their own self-righteousness. We do anything by the ends justify the means type people, and basically they subjugate planets.
Yeah, they're very
and spread their religion too.
Yeah, they're like Fusamasus, but extra violent,
sadistic. Because remember, there's the point where she's like, well, who are these denizens of Earth? Bring me a human.
And someone.
And all of a sudden, this little flying robot comes and grabs a human. They're in space, but they just happen to have a human lying around. And what does he do? What does she do to that human?
She pulls a hearts.
Yeah, she really does on Fusamasu.
From Dragon Ball Heroes?
Yeah, she turns her into a little cube, except it's made
a
of
meat cube.
Yeah, it's a heart.
And then by like bathing her face in it, she's able to look like that person.
That's not sadistic to you?
Okay, that's pretty sadistic.
That was an innocent human that had no idea what was happening. And if she's this higher being, she just made her into a meat cube, not even a meatball.
Sadistic is all hell.
And then smashes her on the table as a meat cube, and then slimes her all over her face. So that at that point, we get a sense that maybe the
good guys
the Templar,
aren't very good.
Yeah.
The Templar isn't exactly, an angel, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, just to wrap the whole thing up, there's a big battle at the end, but there's
just too much.
Yeah, listen, like I said before, this is a movie that has to be seen to believe. It's one of those grindhouse satirical horror. I don't. It's pure craziness in a bottle.
You can't describe it.
Yeah, but what ends up happening, and Psycho Gorman, throughout the movie is kind of attaching himself to the family the only way that Psycho Gorman can, right? So he's slowly coming to like them enough not to kill them.
Yeah.
Right? He's showing, and then there's love that gets defined to him. And so now Psycho Gorman knows how to love and decides that if he were ever to escape the bonds of the overlord Mimi, that he would destroy the universe in the most bloody way possible, but now he's doing it for love.
Well, I think that's at the end.
Yeah, that's at the.
Oh yeah, okay. So
We'll get to that.
come on, final battle, please.
So the final battle, because Psycho Goreman apparently got very messed up by his paladins. So when Pandora finds him, she's about to kill him, but he tries to go the warrior route and say, "Hey, come on, I'm a warrior. You're a warrior too. Yeah, don't I get it right?" He's like, "You're not strong enough to fight me anyway. I'm gonna slaughter you." Well, there is one thing we can do. It doesn't necessarily have to be fighting. And he's like, "All right, whatever contest. I'm superior. I'll beat you." Freaking God.
He's hurt.
Yeah, and he's hurt. So what he decides to do is he decides to have a match of Crazy Ball to
God.
determine the fate of the universe. Because he needs the stone to regenerate himself and become stronger again.
But who has the stone?
Mimi does.
No.
No.
Remember, at this point, what's it? The brother, Luke.
Oh, yes, the brother has it, but he's not on their side.
Right.
And that's because of the sister's sadism.
Yeah.
And because of Pandora trying to recruit both the mom and the brother to her side.
Yeah.
And then the father
is just...
Yeah,
it's
he's
kind of cool.
He's on Mimi's side.
Wait, what was the thing? He was trying to tell her to make the right choice and whether... Because, what's his name?
Yeah.
Psycho Goreman was, like, hurt himself. So, the father was
One
like...
time,
Yeah.
there was a guy in the van who asked me if I wanted to come around back and see his baseball card collection. And what I did, it changed me. I went around back, and I went into that van, and I saw the most radical baseball card collection. Now, I'm not saying this is a very similar instance, but because I was naive and didn't know better, I had a pretty awesome time. Maybe you should do the same thing here too and give the Destroyer of Worlds his gem back so he could potentially kill us all.
Right. Because Psycho Goreman, the only way he could regenerate was by taking control of the gem, right?
Yeah.
But remember the deal that Mimi makes.
Oh God.
He's like, okay, if I give you the gem, you got to make sure that you don't kill me
or my family.
Well, that came later because then the father was like, Mimi. He was like, fine, my family too, right?
Yeah.
No, I think she said me, my family, and then the father tried to get the rest of the planet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
but
right.
Then we'll get to that.
Oops.
Okay. So final battle, Crazy Ball.
Crazy Ball.
Yeah, the Crazy Ball. So, as you can imagine, it's a very whacked out fight. Or it's not even a fight. Oh God. I'm sorry. I can't explain it. Just take it from me. It was weird.
Oh,
it was messed up.
Did you forget that the mom is a Templar also?
Oh yeah. The mom got turned into a Templar. And she's also obviously on the Templar side. But eventually what happens is you get another round of switcheroo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we all know who wins that fight. Mimi or the brother.
Or
it's
the brother.
gonna be the sister.
Yeah.
And so they won. But the Paladin's not having it and just completely reneges on the deal like, I'm still gonna kill you anyway. Seriously?
So they all face off against each other, right?
Well, they all face off against Pandora. because Pandora is going to go for the kill anyway, but Mimi's in the way. And so that gets the mom to get in the way.
But the mom, as the Templar, was trying to kill the dad.
Yeah, there was that too.
Because she was sick and tired of his laziness.
Yeah.
Okay. So Templar about to kill Psycho Goreman. And Mimi has a decision to make. And she's trying to get the gem back from Luke. And then she starts singing Frig You.
Frick you. Frick everyone.
And apparently that's an expression of love.
Even Psycho Goreman started singing it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And so now Psycho Goreman has the gem. He's
full power
Psycho Goreman. Super Saiyan Psycho Goreman. And
versus Pandora.
But he's got no weapon, dude. What is he gonna do? She's got the Holy Blade. How could he defeat the Holy Blade?
Well, it takes something holy to kill something holy, or at least that's the logic he takes. So what he does is, as she's swinging at him, he's reaching into her and taking out all of these organs and various body parts. And out of all of those body parts, which also weakens her, because, I mean, sure, she's a sort of a mortal being. She can obviously take it. So you don't need that liver. He makes a sword out of all of that. And apparently it's able to not get cut by this holy blade, so they just have a sword fight.
A meat blade versus a holy blade.
And eventually Goreman gets the upper hand, has the whole send-off thing where it's like, yeah, you fought well. And that's another thing. I'm not.
Oh, we forgot about that part, right?
I'm not Archduke of Nightmares. I am Psycho Goreman. And because you fought admirably, I will now fulfill the warrior's code and give you a warrior's death.
But how do Gygaxians give warriors death?
So what they do is basically they get Orga jaws, and they just completely in like one fell swoop eat and digest the person whole.
And he did that how many times in the movie?
He did it once to a plate, another time to one of his paladins, and this lady, the Pandora, is the last victim of it.
Each one of them was like, no, not that. Please. And it's like the worst special effects ever, right?
Well, it's basically what they did for Godzilla 2000 with Orga.
Oh my god.
Except that was CGI.
Oh my gosh. You know, this movie is fantastic like that. All right.
So Pandora's beaten. Mom also isn't a paladin anymore because Pandora's like, oh, no, you're using it wrong. Give it back.
Dad broke his arm by high-fiving Psycho Goreman.
So there's an actual reason for a broken arm now.
It was just a simple high five, but all of a sudden it just snapped and broke. Oh my god!
He wasn't even trying. It was a light tap.
No, Psycho Goreman just held his head. Remember, his hand was up, and the dad
didn't move it.
Yeah, he didn't move it. The dad jumped up to hit it and broke his arm.
Okay, and so to wrap it up, instead of taking arguably one of the most powerful artifacts in the universe to continue doing his conquering, he goes and leaves the gem of Praxedis with Mimi and says, I am now going to conquer and destroy the universe.
I no longer need
love. It. Yeah. And as a result, I no longer need the gem of Praxedis.
So he says goodbye, opens up the portal to Main Street, USA.
and starts destroying everything.
And I love the special effects for that because you can like it's literally just such a green screen, and then out of nowhere it's just like him throwing fireballs and stuff everywhere.
And then we get TV reports because apparently he has the ability to grow giant. So the breaking
They
news.
called him a purple naked man, a giant purple naked man, or something like that.
Destroying the world. And they just show him shooting lasers at like buildings and stomping people and killing and all that. Oh my gosh. But what do the family does? What does the family do?
We're gonna go home. The world is screwed, but at least we're gonna live.
Oh my gosh. That's how
That's
it
not even the best part of my
yeah.
opinion. The best part, in my honest opinion, is when we cut to Alistair at home, and his mom calls him to dinner. They all sit down at the dinner table and start eating as though nothing is wrong. And meanwhile, their son is like this brain blob monster thing, and it's like a regular Tuesday afternoon.
And they're all just eating at the table. Oh my gosh. To say that this thing is not crazy, it's not even funny.
And then remember when like the council is like
yeah.
So the council is a sniveling little. They're afraid of the Templar. They're afraid of PG. Cortex is like the best one, but there's a guy called Tube Man, right? And so, can we explain his origins? Now, the origins don't show up in the movie, but they show up in
an interview with Cortex,
which is a special feature outside of the film.
Yeah.
So
apparently, the way because Tube Man is now there. I'll give you some credit. That's another Hellraiser-esque type thing. So Tube Man is basically a cyborg, but he's a head. And the head basically is a human head, but without like skin. So it's basically this fleshy, cartilaginous head, and like you see the teeth. He doesn't have a nose. There's the socket there, and he has two bulging eyeballs, and it's in a glass case. And so Cortex in this interview says, "Oh, I've known Tube Man a very long time. See, we went to the same college together. We were very good friends in college. We were dorm mates." And so apparently on their first day, Cortex saw fit to haze him, and apparently the hazing ritual on campus was to throw your friend or dorm mate off the roof of a building and see if he dies.
And he blamed it on him, right?
It's not my fault you were fragile or something like that.
No, he fell wrong. That's what it was. So he fell wrong. So, and remember, Cortex, his claim to fame, he's the awesome cryptologist, right?
Yes, that was in the movie though.
Right, but
it gets further expanded on in the interview. So he's the best like password maker in the universe, apparently, and you can kind of get the sense that he's not, given that a 10-year-old kid is able to undo his lock and free the ultimate evil in one try randomly.
He called her a genius.
With a knowledge that probably far surpasses our own. Apparently, this guy in at least the context of that movie universe, is responsible for having visited Earth and creating pin numbers. Like,
but he wanted to do what, 2-number pin number?
No, 3. He wanted to
3.
do 3, but then 2 men said, well, 4 would make it more secure. And he's like, my God, you're a genius.
And then he goes, God. You know what? As far as I know, nobody's been able to crack that code and get your banking information. So I find that to be a win of how awesome I am as a cryptologist. Oh, I'm telling you, this is a movie that I said it before and I'll say it again. It has to be seen to be believed.
Yeah, but the very last scene of the movie, like the ultimate last.
Yes, Plan B.
So,
Plan B.
Cortex is like, okay, so the Templar failed. And there's pretty much no one in the universe who can stand up to Psycho Goreman or the Archduke of Nightmares. And so his genius plan, and I like that it's not even an alien model.
Yeah, it's true.
It's not even an alien model.
They have all this fancy technology. What do they pull out?
Cortex throws a snub-nosed revolver on the table and says, who wants to go first?
There's always another way out.
So messed up.
Oh my gosh. I mean...
And that's the very last scene of this movie. Them pondering whether or not they should just off themselves right then and there.
With the snub-nosed revolver. Oh man, I just can't. So, but the thing about it is that if you're gonna watch the movie, please watch the credits because there's the awesome rap rendition of Psycho Goreman.
Oh yeah.
Which basically tells the movie in hip hop form.
Yeah.
It's like the better version of Hamilton. So,
God.
I do we even give this movie a rating?
If I rate it, I'm going to rate it very poorly.
If I rate it, I'm going to rate it very awesomely.
Oh, very awesomely.
My thing is this is a movie that understood that it was dumb and silly and ridiculous and satire and everything about it. And they fully embraced it. And they said, you know what? Let's get as crazy as can be. And then let's try and times that by 10.
Like, they took inspiration from this really... They basically took it from, like, old Japanese TV shows. Like, I'm talking Power Rangers, this obscure other series they mentioned. Like...
Guyver.
Yeah, that.
Guyver, which is pretty influential. But yeah, there's a lot of things. And even the choreographer, the fight choreographer, right? He specifically mentioned that he was looking at old Power Ranger footage, right?
Yeah.
And even in the fight with the Paladins, he even mentioned that one of the things that they did in the Power Rangers, which was like one of their staples, is that whenever they fought and somebody got hit with a weapon,
sparks.
You had those sparks, those little mini explosions, and we saw that in PG Psycho Goreman, right?
Yeah.
So that was a heavy influence. And then, of course, the really old horror movies, the special effects, very low budget film. But you know what? They did what they did with what they had was pretty cool, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They had miniature sets of Gygax. And it's funny how they mentioned how they came up with the atmosphere of Gygax, because as they were spraying it with like water from a spritz bottle, it looked cool on film. So then they made Gygax into like a rainy planet and stuff, right? So it's little things like that really make this a fascinating film to watch,
Yeah.
I say fascinating very loosely.
So my opinion is, as at least for me, I thought it was It was, if you know that you're going in and watching a B movie, and you enjoy those over the top, silly, crazy, ridiculous, funny movies, then this, with a lot of gore, mind you, and a lot of things that aren't explained. But if you're looking to have a fun time watching a movie, I think this is a movie that you should definitely watch.
Yeah.
If those are the things that you really like, then you should really watch this movie. What do you guys think?
It's like an A movie that wants to be a C movie. And it's trying so hard, and it actually succeeds.
An A movie that wants to be a C
Yeah, because it's so
movie?
good that I would honestly, I think this was so good in trying to be what it was trying to be that I would rank it really high up there. It's
So would
like,
I.
and plus it's like so dumb that it's awesome. It's like
Spooderman. What's the new?
Oh, we're gonna
Supaidaman.
So we're gonna talk about that very briefly, because I think it bears mentioning. But yeah, it's definitely along those lines of craziness and stuff. Andre, what is your total opinion of this movie?
I will just I I laugh at it, but it's not like I can't with these kinds of movies. I when I watch something, I want to take it seriously, but this was like, yeah, no, we're not going to take ourselves seriously. I just
Okay. Well, just for reference, do you want to know its Rotten Tomatoes score?
If you say anything above 90%,
as of February 7th, what its Rotten Tomatoes score is?
it has to be under 50.
What do you think, Eli? He says under 50. What do you think?
80 to 90.
88%.
Yeah! Yes, let's go!
88%.
See, we have some true critiques here.
Mm-hmm.
True critiques here. They know what they're doing.
I'll just give you a quick quote from Owen Gleiberman from Variety magazine. As satire, Psycho Goreman is no Planet Terror, but there it is a droll enough schlock in quotes marks diversion, and part of its appeal is just how damn cheap it is.
Yeah.
Now, let me yeah, it is if you're craving cinema that's generous in gore, unapologetically bizarre, and refuses to take itself seriously, then PG Psycho Goreman is from you. That's another critic.
Yeah.
And then Adam Graham from Detroit News says Psycho Goreman is a hilarious gutbuster in every sense of the term. God. Get it? Gutbuster?
Gutbuster.
So, all right. So that's Psycho Goreman. So now we watched a lot of these special features afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that we talked about earlier is that it pays homage to those old Power Ranger movies, those old I forgot what they're called, but they were those Japanese superhero movies, of which one of them you guys had never seen before, and I decided afterwards, let me show you what it looks like on YouTube, and I'm talking about Supaidaman, Japan's 1970s version of Spider-Man.
The Emissary from Hell.
The Emissary from Hell. Yes, he calls him that. So Supaidaman, wow, I can't even begin. That was a strange little how to say it. That was a collaboration with Toei Studios.
They leased it to Toei.
Yes. Yeah. Just for giggles, to see how it get. So it doesn't follow. It's this is what it is. It's a live action tokusatsu. television series, and that's the thing that was on. It's a term for a live action that makes heavy use of special effects, and it's usually sci-fi, fantasy, or horror, right? Um, Godzilla's an example. Ultraman's an example. Kamen Rider's an example. Supaidaman is another example, right? And so this isn't Peter Parker, though.
Nope.
This has nothing, absolutely nothing to do with Spider-Man except for the way he looks, what he's called, and what his powers are. And that is it.
He is a young motorcycle racer called Takuya Hamashiro. And the way that he gets his powers is that a UFO falls from the Earth, the UFO being called the Marveler.
Oh, God.
And his father goes and investigates the ship because, of course, he's a space archaeologist, and gets killed. But then the alien that is that is on the ship, he's the last survivor of a planet called Planet Spider, and he's hunting this guy called Professor Monster and the Iron Cross Army. And so now, apparently, this Garia is hurt enough that he says, well, I can't continue the fight. I need somebody else to do it. So he injects the guy with a toxin, venom, whatever it is,
Spider.
that gives him spider powers, and hence he becomes Spider-Man. And not only that, but he's also gifted a special vehicle,
A Megazord.
that once docked.
Leopardon.
Yeah, the special vehicle then docks into a giant battle robot called Leopardon, like you said, very, very Power Rangers. And not only that, he gives the bracelet to Takuya, and the bracelet is what gives Takuya the power also, and gives him the suit, which is a very cool special effect that they do in the show. Right? Because once he presses the button, the spider suit flies out, and you see the shot of the spider suit flying through the air, and then you see Takayu standing there, and the spider suit flies onto his face and his body, and then he becomes Spider-Man.
Because it just magically
grafts itself, right? And remember the supercut where you can't take off his mask?
There's one after the other, after the other, after the other, after
The bad
other.
guy kept pulling off the mask only to find another mask underneath it. And she does this like 20 times, and every time there's another mask underneath it, right? How about the special... What about the web crawling?
Oh, God.
Spider rope? Spider net? Or how about the time where he falls off the cliff? And what do they use in the show?
The dummies.
It's so low budget that they use mannequins and floppy dummies, and it's not even it's not even that inconspicuous, because you can clearly see that whatever's falling from the sky is a dummy.
Like, it's not moving. It's just stiff as
flopping
hell.
away.
Stiff as hell.
Oh
But
my god.
Perhaps the worst transgression is Spider-Man literally taking a Tommy out of nowhere and spraying the villains with it.
Oh my God.
alongside calling himself the emissary from hell.
Oh,
I think
God.
Oh my
fandom had a really cool
God.
supercut of all the times he calls himself the emissary of hell to his enemies, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Honest.
we saw the Honest trailer,
Oh,
and then
That's by fandom.
oh,
Yeah, they do that. They do those great trailers. And also there's the other thing that we got from the Honest trailer is the fact that this was such a low budget show that midway through the production cycle somebody stole the Leo Pardon suit. So from that point on, they had to recycle old fights because they couldn't afford to make another suit. So
Oh, gosh.
Andre, what do you think about? Are we gonna watch this? I think it's only like how many episodes? I don't even know where to find it, to be honest.
I really hope it's like a Star Wars holiday special type situation where it's just banned.
Wow, there's a lot of episodes. There's 41 episodes. Do you know what the
Oh,
first
gosh.
episode is called?
No.
The first episode is called "The Time of Revenge Has Come. Beat Down Iron Cross Group." The second one is called "Mysterious World, the Man Who Follows His Fate." The fourth one is pretty cool. "The Terrifying Half Merman, the Miracle Calling Silver Thread." Number 5, Crash Machine GP7, the Oath Siblings. Shuddering Laboratory, Devilish Professor Monster. Oh, number 7 is cool. That's the one where he dances. Fearful Hit Tune, Song Dancing Murder Rock.
Killer Unicorn.
Now, one of the things that you did mention that it reminded you of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, right?
Yeah.
Because all the villains, they announce themselves in that very JoJo type of way, right?
Yeah.
Andre is holding his head right now. What's the matter, Andre?
Spider-Man.
I can't take this much. I know the real Spider-Man. This hurts.
Come on. There's this that 7th song. You get the Spider-Man boogie. Come on.
Spider-Man loses his sense of directions.
Oh yeah.
God.
So the suit is called the Spider Protector. The bracelet is called the Spider Bracelet. The webbing is called Spider Strings. The net is called Spider Net. The flying car is called the Spider Machine GP7. The big giant robot is Leopardon. And then you have the Iron Cross Army, which is complete with Professor Monster. The female commander, which is Amazon Ness. And the biological weapons are called Machine Bem,
Gosh.
which are usually genetically modified humans, but there are things called Monster Cat that come after Supaidaman. So, and the henchmen, they're called Ninders. So, yeah. So, I mean, are we watching 41 episodes of Supaidaman?
Yeah,
I already
totally.
have too many things to watch.
You wouldn't be happy with watching Supaidaman?
God.
Come on.
Of course. Gosh, I'm watching the Honest trailers right now.
Who's that guy? That guy has
Machine Bem Toothache Alligator.
There you go.
One of the episodes is called A School of Love for Children Without Homes.
Well, that is because of poor translation, if I
Yeah.
remember what the honest trailer said correctly.
Yeah, but still.
Oh,
Jeez.
God.
Listen. This is the kind of stuff that I grew up with. So you guys living in this MCU world of yours, you should be lucky
I
because
do count myself.
Yeah.
because
I
you know
do.
what? The American Spider-Man was even worse. The TV show that we got.
Worse than that?
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And you didn't have to suffer through things like, well, yeah, it was, that was a bad time for superhero shows. The only one that I remember that was worth anything was The Incredible Hulk with Bill Bixby. That was one of my favorite shows back then. But anything else was pretty cringy, in the words of Eli and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. You didn't like Andre. You weren't too crazy about PG Psycho Gorman, right?
Not too crazy about it now. But I'll give it this. It made me laugh. So there you go.
All right. Well, that's the whole point of it, right?
Yep.
You and I, Eli, we loved it, right?
Supaidaman, we're definitely gonna watch.
Supaidaman, we're definitely gonna watch. I don't know if Andre's gonna watch with us. There's a death silence.
But anyway,
All right. So anyway, that was our decently long episode, but I mean, Psycho Gorman, there was still a bunch of stuff that we didn't even get into that was there, but whatever. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up by saying thank you for joining us on another CrossGen podcast. We hope to see you next week. I'm gonna sign off. Then this is Walt,
Eli.
AJ.
and we'll see you guys round the bend.
And may our paths cross again.
There you
I
go.
did it. I did it.
Later.
Bye.